let's just see. Oh, it's back on now. Right. Shit. Thank you. Third time is the charm. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. I started off already with the microphone muted on the mic. Haha. I was savvy, saw that one. And then I still had it muted on the Streamlabs. Haha. Not so savvy. Didn't notice that one. TradeSpotting called me up, let me know that that was the score. Wow. So here we are. That's like 3 minutes of speaking to myself. Good. That's good. That'll stand me in good stead. Hope you're all doing very, very well. We have got a very, very good week coming. This is going to be a fantastic week. Yes, I am sure that this will be a fantastic week. Lots and lots and lots of good things are coming for us. I am sure of it. Now, how sure are you, Rocky, and how does that pertain to price? Well, I'm pretty sure. And with regards to price, well... Oh, got an incoming voice call. What, is it still not working? Okay, see ya. That was Trace Boyne just calling me up to make sure that I say hi to Bad Mama Jamma for him. Hi, Bad Mama Jamma. Jimmy says hi. I say hi. Also, I need to confirm with you that the sound actually is working. So I'll just do that real now. Yeah, can you hear me? I'm pretty sure you can because I can see the things changing on my screen, but who knows? Yes, fantastic week ahead, right? Fantastic week ahead. We'll be looking at GME and AMC in today's show, along with cryptocurrencies and anything else that gets suggested by the community and the audience members out there. Really is wonderful to see you all here today. Super fantastic. I'll be doing hellos in the chit chat in just a minute. With regards to price of our two favorite meme stocks, have they retraced enough in order to be able to move on and have a good week or a good couple of weeks, or all exciting stuff could be happening? Well, yeah, they have. They've done that. They've had sufficient retraces, so we are in a position where we stand well enough. We're well enough positioned to kind of continue on the way. We've done the necessary bloodletting. Now, where does that leave us with regards to the week ahead? Well, hopefully in a position to start moving up. So we'll be talking about it from a bullish and positive perspective. Having lived through the bearishness which we had thought was the most likely bearishness to happen to the prices for us over the last week. So we've done kind of the biggest risk chunk now. Hopefully we can actually move on with parts two of this story, I suppose, for just now. And yeah, brilliant, excellent. Don't forget to hit the hit like the page, says Apple Blossom. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Apple Blossom. Hope you're doing very well out there. Good to see Ashley. Good to see Adam. Good to see you, Bad Mama Jamma. Really is, always is. JT858. Good to see you. Loud and clear, you say. That's good to know. Robert Irvine says you sound fantastic. Robert Irvine, what a name, eh? Are you Scottish, mate? With a name like that, I gotta wonder. It's a good name. Hutch, hear you fine. Excellent. Nova Scotia Unicorn giving me confirmation on that one. Kim Robbins as well. Lovely to see you. Case Guy, good to see you. Paul Dooley says all good. And Popcorn Biatch says good morning. Catface, catface, catface. Great. Nice one. Good Popcorn Biatch. Kevin, good to see you. How's everyone on this great day? I think everyone's doing pretty good. Kevin, man, I'm doing pretty good. Hope you're doing good as well, bud. Tony Mocarino, good to see you. Good morning, mate. Good morning, Space Captain. Good morning, Jiu Jitsu guy. Bing bong, Dominic, Bevan, Bing bong, Kyoto experts. Bing bong, the price is so effing wrong, says Bad Mama Jamma. Well, that's it. We have done a lot of stuff. Now, there's something that I do want to talk about here, kind of at the early doors part of the show on Monday, before moving on with the rest of the week in blissful ignorance. And that is, of course, that there is the potential for news to be coming out this week. Okay, so there's going to be event psychology around all of this. A lot of people have been talking about things like crypto dividends, etc. Right. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of that this week, but suffice it to say that if they were doing a crypto dividend on July the 14th and that was happening and everything else, then in terms of it being distributed to people, then we would almost certainly already know about it beforehand. So what we're going to be looking forward to this week, and that is of course in a couple of days, is what the news is going to be about the news, because that's, I think, the best that we can realistically hope for. And there, with event psychology, there's always a sort of buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. When it comes to news about news, then we might be still within that kind of rumor stage about things. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Right. Hi, Space Captain, Space Banana. Hi everybody in there. Right, wait now. Do we have Robert Irvine? Hey Rocky, I am Scottish. I'm in Glasgow. There you go. There we go. Good Scottish name, that one. I mean, a lot of people would think that a Scottish name would have to be Hamish McTavish or something like that. Now that would be a fantastic Scottish name. But yeah, Robert Irvine, you know, that's kind of your typical Scottish name, I suppose, these days. Good to see you, mate. Queen Bee, good to see you. Good to see you, Ashley. Good to see you, Coven Keeper. Oh, Coven Keeper. And good to see you, Supernova. Good to see you, Tony Picus. Right, so we're going to be cracking on with the charts fairly soon. What other points of business, points of order, points of business do we have to discuss beforehand? Right, yeah, cool. Soon the Discord will be changing to a paid entrance fee thing for it, right? Got a couple of different ideas about how I'll be running that one. My basic first off idea is that there'll be a kind of a room for people that's free for anybody to join, more or less. I'll still have to use things like Altdentifier, etc., to make sure it's not spam bots joining to the greatest extent possible. So there'll be some sort of checks to go through. But essentially that would be access for all. And then for all of the other kind of essential basic rooms that we've got there, there'll be a fee through Discord for it. And it'll be affordable. And then the other rooms, like the education rooms, etc., there'll be a bigger fee for a bigger one on the old Discord. Now, not everybody wants that. That'll be a higher Patreon member level. Not everybody wants those things. That's totally fine. And also the generosity levels and all that on the Patreon are just staying as they are. I'll be adding one extra level to my Patreon, which is much cheaper than the others, which is exclusively for people who want access to the Discord, and nothing else. As in, they want access to the Discord, but they don't want to actually be generous to me. So, like, that's what that level will be for. For everybody who actually does want to be generous and sort of actually genuinely support the channel, then there'll be all the other memberships that are still there as they are. So, so that's what I'm thinking, right? Obviously, that means that some people will feel like they're disadvantaged, and that's just natural enough, isn't it? Well, then, when is this happening, Rocky? Well, I think that when this is going to be happening is whenever I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. 10,000 subscribers, all of whom have been told that there's the free Discord out there for them to join already. So, you know, that's that. Now, in the meantime, what are you going to be doing? Well, I'm going to be making it so that nobody's able to join it at all. Yes, that's right. So if you have if you have currently got access to an invitation link, and indeed by hitting !Discord in this very live stream, you will not get access to one. That actual link that Nightbot puts out has been abandoned. So unless you've got access to one right now, then the chances are you'll not actually be able to get involved. And that means that maybe you want access and maybe you need that. So then you can come to me and ask. It's not a problem, and I'll let you in there and all that good stuff right up until there's 10,000 members. Okay, so there ain't nobody going to say anything about nothing, because I've been doing this for quite some time now. I'm not your average YouTuber. I started doing YouTube in January 2020. I've been committed fully. I've given up so much in terms of financial in terms of money and time, so much that I'm in like so much of a deficit running this thing that I've absolutely got zero qualms about doing any of this, and it really is to protect the long-term interests and good stuff that we've got on the go in the Discord. So something just to put out there for everybody to know, because you need to know there's none of this sort of like coming to me after the fact telling me that I did something wrong. This is all being told in advance, right? So that's where we have it. Do you think they will have to cover any of the shorts to keep the short interest down in the reports, or is this just nothing? I don't know, Bad Mama Jamma, you see, because we've got our pal 007 come along here soon to mess with people. There's also lots of other kind of issues out there. I'm not entirely sure. And short interest is measured as a percentage, you know, and that as well. It's it doesn't tell you the absolute value, so we don't know, like, you know, how many shorts there are, and obviously as well we don't know how many longs there are necessarily either, which counterbalance those shorts. And then the data itself is reported, you know, it's kind of like a self-reporting thing, so it's not necessarily trustworthy. And then the organizations which do propagate it out into all of our awareness are also owned and maintained and ran by these same people. So essentially, what information can we derive from short interest in the here and now with these particular things? It's hard to say. I do say that short interest, by and large, is a useful component for people to look at when they're making decisions about financial products. How useful it is for us in this circumstances right here, right now, is kind of we figure out this new world that we live in and everything else. Hard to say. It's really hard to say. I'm just going to keep my eye on what's happening on the old Chartios over there. But it's a great question that you've asked there, Bad Mama, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what other people think. Here we have Subsonian saying, thanks for being so transparent, Rocky Outcrop. That's massively appreciated. I do try to be transparent. Not everybody's going to see it that way, obviously, but you know, I literally do not have the time or emotional capacity any longer to care about people who would think that I wouldn't do something that was in the best interest of the community. I mean, and for no small part of that reason why I don't have the time to care about them is because I genuinely spend that much time caring about the community. So anybody who would like to sort of waste my time, take away time that I would otherwise spend caring about the community by asking me questions which are spurious in their nature as to whether or not I care about the community, could obviously get GTFO. So, Space Captain 2, top of the morning to you, Jamie. Top of the morning, Jamie. Yes, that's right. Smack that thumbs up, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. Anyway, we've got half an hour before the markets open up, so let's do it. Let's go. Let's spend 10 minutes or so looking at the AMC and GME prices. Then we'll spend 10 minutes or so looking at cryptocurrency prices. Then we'll spend the remainder of the time that we've got left after those two objectives have been achieved chatting with each other before the markets actually open. Then we'll spend a few minutes kind of looking at where the markets have opened up at today, how all of those traders and faders and market manipulators are acting in the morning time this morning, and we'll see how we're getting on. Okie dokie. Congrats on calling Italy. Hi Traceman, congrats on calling Italy. Yes, congrats indeed. Did anybody watch that last night? I tell you what, I have had a lot of horns and whatnot throughout the night last night. There was a lot of celebration outside in Scotland, a fantastically jovial atmosphere, but I do wish all of my English brethren the best recovering today. That must have been absolutely shockingly heartbreaking last night to have gone all the way in the final. Actually have spent a significant amount of time winning during the match, and then to go on to have penalties and actually as well be winning in the penalties during the match, and then to go on and lose with two really kind of poor penalties and stuff towards the end, specifically by the substitutions that were put on to take penalties and had no running around to do because they'd come in the final minutes. And there were the hopes and dreams of the entire nation, and instead Marcus Rashford and the other guy just threw it all away. So that must be absolutely devastating for you. So my greatest and deepest sympathies to England. And now that I've got that out of the way, I can get on with celebrating myself. Hey, just kidding. Much love. Right, sound. So let's bring up the charts. Well, look at that. That's the chat there. That's cool. Here's me looking clear and nice. Clear and nice. Nice and clear. I hope I'm looking half decent for you this morning. For you this morning, my friends and stuffs. I need to empty that chat jar because why has it got anything in it? What's going on over here? I don't know why it's got anything in it. Oh, Bad Mama Jamma contributed as well today into there, so it should have something in it. But you know what? I'm just going to get it off the screen for now instead. That would be better. Where there, let's hide it. Right. No, that's the wrong one. That's chat box. Sorry, I was reading that one. Where's chat box? Chat box not showing up because I hid it. Did I ruin it? Sorry about this. I'm normally much smoother when it comes to doing this whole YouTube thing. But where's my blooming chat box? Have I broken the chat box? Because that would be very disappointing. I don't know. Hopefully it just starts working again. I like it when stuff just starts working again without any real explanation. That's the best. Anyway, whoops. Right. We'll survive. We will survive. Hey, hey. Ba-dum-ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. GME had a very interesting week last week. The prices actually dropped down to an area that we had identified in the past as potentially being somewhere where the prices may need to go in order to find their bottom in a sense. How did we discuss this? Well, one of the ways that we discussed this was during the malaise, in the lack of volume and lack of trading that happened as the markets were sloping gently downwards and sideways in the lower area of the handle phase of the cup with handle price action over the longer term on the charts. Well, that's a bit of a mouthful. Maybe you'd give us some visual ideas about what you're talking about there. Yes. Okay, so here's your charts and you've got this formation here, and that's considered quite often to be a cup, and that's what we're looking at here. Then you've got this phase over here, and that's considered to be a handle. Okay, so there's a cup with a handle, and then during this period of time just in here, there was quite a distinct lack of volume, not voluminous. The charts are not showing you my volume properly, so let me just get this up on screen a bit better. Okay, that'll do. So in here during this period of time when the charts were going sideways, very, very little volume, and we were talking about how there wasn't that conviction to push the prices one way or the other quite yet, but also, you know, as well, there wasn't a capitulation at that stage from the shorts. We were very much looking at it and saying that a lot of them were holding out for just a little bit more. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them were holding out for just a little bit more. And by jingles, they got just a little bit more, okay? And that was when the prices dropped down to the 177 region. They pushed right back up again, came in and got everybody a second bite of the cherry, and then it started to move towards the top side. So over the period of the last 2 days on the chart, so Thursday and Friday, we actually did manage to kind of overall push the prices up and try and get back to that 160 region again. So that's good to know. That's good to know that that's where the prices have managed to get to. but the and that the opportunity there for short sellers to have actually got it down to a price where maybe they'd have been willing to then of course relinquish their positions was important. We can see that at the time when it did drop down that there was a bit of volume that came in, but again nothing that really kind of got you that continuation volume, as if to say that there wasn't another whole tranche of short sellers coming in at that price point to then push it down further. That certainly didn't happen. So really overall it's kind of just more of this potential accumulation distribution sort of shakeout phase on the go, and this leaves us in a position where we're able to look at it from the broader perspective and say, well, in the next couple of weeks, because here's the weekly chart here, in the next couple of weeks, we want to see the prices of GME take back out this 10-period weekly moving average, which is this blue dotted line that I have on the charts there. Take that out and move towards the top side, and that means coming back in towards this 210 buck area. Currently, that's what we'd be looking towards, just that roughly speaking. And then things would then start to look very, very, very positive, of course, and we could start to look towards actually trying to get a trend towards the top, or indeed just bust through certain price levels. So that's what we want to see. So what we want then, therefore, today is to have a bit of that. On the go. Is there anything that kind of stands out and shocks us? Well, there is this area that we've spoken about it quite a lot of times recently with regards to where you're likely to find a square up happening at, and well, it already kind of straight away cleared that off the books as well, so that's good. The strength of trend is kind of moving a little bit towards the top side, while the prices themselves aren't actually moving to the downside, so that's good because it's not that continuation of that negativity. So we're in an all right place overall. The RSI, for example, over here didn't push down into the bearish control zone, is just kicking about in the neutral zone. It's still possible, of course, for all this to start to just kind of really turn around. So we're in a position here to look good at the start of the week, fairly, without too much stress on the go in terms of that. And in the hourly time frame, we are doing okay, just kind of mostly trending up the way, following on from some bullish divergence. Now, there has been degrees of bearish divergence in this time frame, but for me in this period of time that's actually fine. It's not during the upward trend, it's comparing itself versus the downward trend, sticking in hidden bearish divergence, right? So it's not classic bearish divergence there, it's just hidden bearish divergence, and that's potential so long as we stay below these price points, and that lines up for us at $200. So as soon as the prices take out $200, then that short-termism view fades away, and we'd just be moving towards the top side thereafter. So that would be kind of the first thing I'm looking to overall for this week on this one. And are we set up to do it? Well, all we can really make an assessment of is that we are. It is the counter trend move, and we're looking for that reversal. So that tweezer bottom potential for us at 177, the way that worked out, is that the potential for us? Well, it is. 10 minutes past 2 my time means that I'm going to have to be fairly snappy when I get through talking about the AMC one to fit in enough time to talk about crypto here before the markets go live. So here's AMC, and what we did last week was we pushed right down into this area. There was a degree of no man's landity about it. Any sort of closure below this line was what we were looking for, therefore. And you can see that the prices pushed down to the line, tested it, bounced away, came back up to a resistance zone, and then actually the following day gapped down, tried to push down the way, but actually immediately closed back up above that line and carried on again for the rest of the day. No, closed just below it, but you can see then we got given those 3 white soldiers as well, and the prices then dropped back down the way, putting in what is obviously, not obviously, but putting in a short-termism kind of a bull flag potential structure for us there. Check it in the 15 minutes. Yeah, doing okay here on this one overall, so that's fine. That's doing good, right? 15-minute closures below lines, by the way, not particularly kind of confirmatory. However, certainly a warning sign for us that we had that movement. Very, very, very good response from it. Today's price action, what we're looking for is to get out of this bear flag or bull flag area, move up the way. We can see that this, in terms of the fulfillment requirement for for this volatility that happened here as well. That's already been happened. It's already happened. Everything's set up for us, clean and good to go for Monday. Yes, there's negativity in the air. There has been, there will be on both of these charts. We have been in a downward trend for a couple of weeks now, so well, maybe actually over a month actually. So we need to kind of bear that in mind, and we will continue to do so, looking towards the 50 price point for us to see if we can capture that again, move up. We're doing okay in terms of the oscillators, etc. down below, and yeah, let's see if we can push past the neutral line, reject it on its first pass, and pass out for the bearish case scenario, stay in touch and not allow this cross here to actually gather up any sort of head of steam. 13 minutes past 2. So yeah, cool, nice one. Plenty time here left over. Let me just dive over to Bitcoin USD and kind of, see how things have been going since the weekend for us on this one. Current price action is 33,500. So we're still bounced around us all the threes area for us. This has been a story which we've been talking about now for quite some time, and overall you can see the general slant towards the downside in terms of the prices here. Should be drawn in like this. Like, you can see the prices sloping down the way overall. You can see that there. You can see that again and again we get doses of bullish divergence. You can see it here. Bing, 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 bing. Bullish divergences all over the way. Hidden bearish divergences as well. This general malaise is not good, and of course, does form kind of the bear flag of the drop down the way. But that's still all putting so much more pressure on this price point just here in terms of sticking in and giving us that support at that 32, 33 region. Let's be fair with this one. It is volatile. We could see drops down towards 20, 29, 28. We could see that. That would be the next one if we actually do get closures below 31. I would say is where we'd be looking for. We would be looking to see about 28 next. Okay, I've said it. It's very clear. Said it twice. Not the sort of thing I need to put into a summary at the end. That's right. So so here we have it, and if we do look up towards the top side, then of course, as long as we're below 38,000, then you're definitely not going to feel positive about it until in terms of how the risk is with this one, because it's so shockingly clear that only somebody who is in current mindset of wanting to catch a knife and therefore really make a massive amount of money would be tempted enough in order to ignore the operating range of the prices and simply trade the range as it stands and make more money overall trading that way. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but seriously, do consider giving yourself some financial advice if you're just looking exclusively over the period of, get me the ruler out here, take it from there up to here, over the period of 2 months of just trying to look to play the breakout on something. Welcome to trading. This is an aspect of trading. If you're only learning it now, after a couple of months of looking to try and play the breakout during a phase of consolidation as part of a negative thrust in the markets, then you are just still learning. I know, right? I know. And you thought you'd been at it for so long already. I know, huh? Anyway, it's where we are. Moving on, right? Ethereum versus USDT coming up just here. And similar story, because we still haven't had that breakout. If you have been relying on the prices going up to $3,000 in order to make money, then you are being shaken out, my friend, over a period of consolidation. And if you're doing that while having actually got into a position here trying to play the breakout, then indeed that is you. Will it happen? Well, it's certainly now a lot more likely to happen now than it was 2 months ago, but it still hasn't happened yet. So over the period of the last couple of months, what we've been talking about is market structure. We're below all of the twos on the Ethereum prices. What does that mean to you? Well, if you've watched any of the chat that we've had over the last couple of weeks, it certainly doesn't mean go out and sell your car and your house and put it all on Ethereum. That's not what that means. And I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but if you are looking towards market structure, be aware that the mid 2Ks area is of course where our latest high was, and that pushing past that is of course a risk question. You're going to have to ask yourself, how much are you willing to eat if it doesn't actually successfully do that? In the meantime, taking away all these drawings so you can actually see the charts a wee bit, I'll just rely on your pattern recognition skills as, of course, a member of the human species. When I point a circle in here and say that that's up in a higher up area, this is in a sort of lower down area. This one here is like higher up than that previous one that I just said was lower, right? And this one here is lower down, and guess what? It's lower than the previous one that I said was lower. And then this one here is what? Right? At this point here, this point where it's all been laid out for you, I'll leave that last tiny few seconds for you to figure out yourself what that last one is. Until such times as we are above it. Right now, this could obviously be, therefore, a bear trap. It could be, because this is one of these regions where, of course, the inflection is very clear here in the markets, banging off of this line 4 times in a row on the 24-hour time frame in terms of where its bodies have closed. So be aware of how there could be, of course, a bear trap in here as well, and a bull trap, and maybe just manage your risk like a trader would. Link USDT then, therefore, we'll take a look at that. How are we doing for time? 18 minutes past. It's only been 5 minutes that we've been looking at the cryptocurrency charts. Can you believe it? And all that stuff that's been said already. Yeah, I just thought I'd be a bit clear for people on a Monday. This chart, it has the potential to look very fun for Chainlink. Very fun. It could look very fun for Chainlink. We're here at this area, you know, testing this region again. Can we turn it around? Can we turn it around? Well, there's plenty of questions get asked a lot of times about things like this, and this is the sort of question as well that could have people asking about bump and run patterns. One of the things that people have asked me recently with regards to AMC or GME, one of those two, was to do with bump and run patterns, and of course there wasn't one on there because everybody likes to ask about them. This here is one way of kind of working out about whether or not you'd have one, because of course you've got the lead-in over here. You're supposed to have a lead-in period where you get touched a few times along the way, and then of course if you go and extend the lines right, then how does it come down here? And did we get a bump off of this thing, and could we maybe then go for a run thereafter? Now this is pushed up, bumped away, came in and up, and then it's retested it currently. This could be, it could maybe be a bump and run. Got some big problems with it, of course, though, in the terms of that you're kind of like using this for a continuation as opposed to a reversal, etc. But just be aware of the fact that we have moved enough, perhaps sideways, without the upward thrust to say that enough potential shakeout has happened. However, if we just continue to manage our risk using horizontal support and resistance and just kind of take it nice and easy and make life easy on ourselves and not overcomplicate things and trade without FOMO and greed and fear, and be aware of the kind of range between those two dotted lines there between the price points of around about 16 and of course 18 or 17, 77, 77, all the sevens running along, and where we are while we're above them, it means that we're in a position to try and take out 20, but we might not do it yet. We might range within here. Beyond those two levels, though, there's a change in conditions in the charts, as you can maybe see. So this is really all we need to look at for the here and now with regards to Chainlink. Ask yourself this: is the price above this line being $20, and has it closed up there or not? Is the price above this line here, $16? Then is it ranging? Is it above the price of $18? 18 up to 20, then 18 down to 16. There's your range. Be down below 16, back away. You can short it below 15, managing your risk at 16 again. I'm not a financial advisor on this financial advice, but going on up the way, that's what you're looking to on that one. Moving on, and we'll bring up Tezos as well. This is just, again, 21 minutes past. We're going to do 8 minutes of chatting with chat here as I just do the last little cryptocurrency in this little cryptocurrency round the market look. A lot of people as well wonder, who are relatively newer to the channel, why I would look at those for. What you have here is Bitcoin, which is the best cryptocurrency for so many reasons, in terms of, for instance, just easy headlines like it's the biggest market cap cryptocurrency and represents more than half of the cryptocurrency value of the entire market. So you've got that type of reason. You've got Ethereum, which is like the best cryptocurrency because it is the platform that has got the most utility on it, and as a result has launched so many sort of secondary coins on the Ethereum network, and it really is fantastic technology, and you know, fiscally run in a way which is actually benefits the miners, detriment to the users. The utilities there is enough to encourage the users. The institutional investment as well is on Ethereum and stuff like that with regards to things. So there's plenty of market manipulation there as well to exploit as a retail trader, if you know what you're doing, as well. So great, fantastic, wonderful, good coin for trading and all that. And it's the second biggest cryptocurrency, representing a huge chunk of the market. Then you've got Chainlink, which is perhaps one of the darlings of DeFi, is the most effective utility token in terms of the token's utility comes from providing trustworthy prices for different assets, so that in a trustless, human-free, smart contract environment, contracts are able to be executed without the need for any verification of that price data, which is fantastic because decentralized finance relies on these sorts of things. And if you don't know what decentralized finance is, well, that is simply saying, well, if person A wants to lend person B money, and they can do it through the internet, through computers, and they don't need to see each other, talk to each other, trust each other even. How could we make it a system so like that can happen, yada yada, and then where our risks be? Well, if the prices are above this or below that, maybe we need to liquidate that contract and give the person who lent the money out their money back. Therefore, the person who lent the money doesn't need to trust the other person because they'll know that they'll always get it back because it's built into the contract, determined by price. How do we determine that price? We'll buy Chainlink, and that'll be one of the ones that will actually tell us that information. So fantastic and hugely used and with massive potential. Biggest as well token perhaps then on the Ethereum network. It's one of these ERC20 tokens. So that whole chain down the way brings us towards that point. And then as well Tezos. Well, Tezos is just another large cap cryptocurrency that wanted to be a competitor towards Ethereum, is going through a lot of growth, has been a dark horse for trading, available on Forex platforms frequently so that people who want to trade crypto but don't want to own it, just want to trade it and whatever, can do that there. It's was the one when it came out at the time, it was the biggest ever IPO or ICO for a coin at the time. So loads of things about it which are really big, but also it gives us a little feeling of like the other parts of the markets, you know, like are we seeing anything else out there? So it's a nice little selection, and people are free to ask for more. And we have 1 minute here to just check in with the Tezos prices. And we can see that they are just challenging, again, moving along, similar to all the other ones we've been talking about, ever so slightly kind of timing-wise to be slightly different here. We can see that we're currently in the mode of looking up towards that $3. Price is at $2.87 at the minute, having given everybody a great entries down at $2.50. Did make it down to $2.50, yeah, I'm just checking that. I saw this throughout the weekend. I knew until that last week that it had gone down to $2.50, as we had spoken about for that bounce. Excellent stuff. So now we have a low, a high, a higher low. We're on the way. Can we put in a higher high? Well, history shows us at the minute that, you know, we haven't been able to do that so far. Therefore, we can see that people are already de-risking right here at the platform where this where we'd left off from. How do the oscillators look on this one as well? So yeah, just kind of fading away in terms of the strength of the negative trend. Well, we haven't actually picked up the positive trend as yet. We're still below the neutral line, the RSI 24-hour time frame, but 4-hour time frame. We've got any momentum to carry us up the way. Just maybe about to start gaining something here with us, but not yet. Still not there for us quite yet. Bounced off the bullish control zone on our first pass. Not quite there yet. So yeah, so really just looking quite keenly towards that previous high and saying, can we take it out? That's in there at $3. It's a nice round number. We're at 287 at the minute, so easy enough stuff to remember. This doesn't even need any further explanation because that is indeed your summary. Prices above $3. Well, we're looking up actually towards 318 thereafter and saying that as long as they're not, that's the next profit taking target. 333 thereafter that, until the prices are above 333 and so forth, when we're not actually really turning anything around from a bigger perspective. Looking here and seeing where 333 is, you can see that up here that's 360s, 333 is actually where this yellow line is, and as long as we're below that, we ain't done shit yet. But, you know, we're doing all right because we haven't taken out our wick of this low above 250. Things are pretty good. Below 250, we're heading down the way to 220, $2, and then 180 thereafter. That's where we are on these things. Trading is looking fairly nice, fairly ripe. Managing your risk in these areas, easy enough. Will we find that we actually get rejected right at this platform, or can we push up the way? Percentage-wise, you're looking at smaller moves than we've had at the edges of these ranges. Perhaps if you're just not in a trade at the minute, then you can wait for some better opportunity, unless you're looking to scalp this thing in the short here and nowsies. Bring up the GME chart and we can check how chat's doing as we're waiting for us to get back into traditional land USA stock trading open markets. Bring up this chart where I've got both of them open at once as well. And here, that's GME on the left, GME on the right, take off extended hours, pop on AMC. Stick it down at the 5-minute time frame. Charts only. Zoom it in. So that's good enough to see for people at home. Charts only. 5 minutes. Zoomed in. Enough for people to see. We've got both the charts open. Got moving averages here on the left. I'll just hide them. And the volume on the right is confusing because it's not all grey. Right, we good. We done. We good. We done. We good. We done. Nice. How's chat? Where's my chat? Thank you so much, Kim, for that contribution during all of that. It was really appreciated. You said smash the like button. Thank you so much. 14 minutes until more sideways GME non-action with no volume. Lamayo 197.20, 191.27, 11.2006, 11.2. So what? 110 million volume. Interesting. Or was that 10? Yeah, whatever. Space Banana, thank you. You're chatting there. That's cool. Nice one. K King, do you have dono notifications on? Do I have dono notifications on? I should, but you know what? I mean, I think I saw the Kim Robbins one coming up. I can try and double test it. There's this app called Streamlabs that Streamlabs puts out to be able to help you with this thing. It's not loading up properly for me at the minute. 3 minutes till the casino opens. Space Banana, good to see you, Rock. Let me just see. Kim Robbins donated last. Bad Mama Jama. Yeah, I think those donation notifications popped up, man. Not too sure. I think they showed up on screen. Not too 100% entirely 1 billion trillion % sure, but I think they did. Because I saw Kim Robbins one coming in at the time. Smashed the like. I wasn't going to enter myself for that. That was cool. She didn't want me to. I'm sure she was talking to everybody else. And go. Cool. We're open. Sweet. We're on. Right. Nice. So what we'll do here is we'll spend the next sort of 5-10 minutes kind of just checking how things go at the start of the charts here. You can see AMC, that's the one that's on the far right, had a tiny bit of a tiny gap, kind of. Nothing really to talk about there. Nothing. Oh no, there's a big gap. Sorry, what am I saying? Whoa, and we're on. Right, okay. AMC prices opening up 5% down on the day already. Big gap up above, dropping down further. We are on the way currently towards testing it against this 44 price point. We're at 44 at the minute. We're on the way towards testing off of this 42 price point, looking for that 10% movement down. Right now, casting our eye back, seeing how far this came down. Well, it came right towards this gap area before, and that is the current sort of low on this one. Let's see if this sets us up for otherwise positive trading day. Having now kind of seen how things were going, could have, I suppose, checked the pre-market prices, but gives us that gap up above. We've got the same thing on the go on GME, so we've come down to this lower area just here as well. I'm going to just mark that in just for now, so I can check on where the context of this was in just a second as well. But we've got the gap up above us going up towards 190. We're currently at 189. So what will be the result? Now it looks to me today, so far, just with the way that this opened up, that's in terms of the 5-minute time frame, that's a fairly significant gap. So I'm not expecting immediate and positive to fill that up immediately. Just going to wait and see how that kind of pans out for now, and make an assessment of this other gap over here. 5-minute time frame, giving you that kind of that bulky stretched picture, because on the 5-minute time frame, I mean, essentially we've got one candle showing one bit so far of this of today, and then tons of candles showing us how Friday and Thursday went up on the screen for us over there. So it's a lot of information, and then the context is obviously different between them. So we really are waiting to see where we'll be operating for today. I do think that the chances are that at the minute that what we do is we find our support in here at this knot of price action on AMC. On GME, it's just come back down to where the point of control is likely to be, putting in what's overall a higher low as well in terms of this formation so far. So that's fine as well. Just kind of like, the in terms of the diagonal on this thing, just looking up here towards this zone and asking, can we stay above it? But if we don't, as we're challenging at the minute, then we will be looking from a slightly broader perspective and saying where a higher low could come in at, and well, anything above 180 is fine. Looking for this to try and find support. I'm actually on both of these now, given the gaps that we have today. I'm really just going to be like spending half the day kind of thinking to myself, well, are we going to be coming up towards those gaps? How will we be managing it so far, etc.? How will it go? That's what I'll be looking to try and find out. Or if we'll get continuation. I don't think that the gapping down to the prior gap, gapping down to the sort of the upward sloping support line and an area of prior liquidity when the market is open is really signifying anything to us so far at the minute. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think this signifies anything, even though it is percentage-wise fairly big numbers. And that's what happens when you're a participant in a market where you can remember the prices being $4 each, and then you look at it and they drop $4 on market open, and you think, my goodness, that's what they all cost each just a wee while ago. Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, also it closed up here at $46. It went down towards 43. $3, not quite 10. It's not 10%. These things happen in markets all the time. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the family, Drew Saul. You are a legend. Thank you so much for that. It's really appreciated. Welcome, Drew says Space Bananas, and Drew Saul says thanks. Great, good to see you, Brady. Good to see you, Michael. Morning, Rocky. Morning, all. So yeah. Somebody was saying, just until there's no volume and all of that sort of stuff. Let's then, therefore, check, I suppose, how the volume has been in this opening 5-minute gambit of the price action. And that's the 5-minute candle closed. Well, a lot less volume than there was in the previous candles here. And as you can see, the range during then was significantly smaller. Let's see how we were doing on AMC. Volume here in that 5-minute candle, AMC and your volume. Yeah, similar to the previous one, both of which also more than there had been in the previous sets of candles. Interesting stuff there, but still, nothing to write home about in terms of volume compared to to a lot of the volume candles. Certainly wasn't large volume, and immediately back up then towards that. So that's good, right? What we're looking for then is to kind of go up. Are we going to fill in this gap? And when we do so, how will the prices react to that? On GME, it's just kind of waiting. We're like a minute behind. There we go. Now GME. Now we come out, kind of start coming back up here. That's what we're looking for. And if we do bounce around here and actually form out an area of an actual, a gap which is going to remain visible on the charts for some time, then that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, by the way, just from a bigger perspective, going up towards the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we've already filled in that gap because it was so much of a nothing on the smaller term time frames, really. Anyway, or sorry, nothing on this one. It's already been filled in, and that's of course a non-event and could just be left on the charts. And on the 4-hour time frame here on AMC, you can see that this is a visible gap. So I'm waiting to see overall on both of these how things go pushing up past that area. If we do see negative continuation from GME, then I suppose maybe I'll be looking for a failure here on AMC and if it hits $45 again. But that's where we are right now. I mean, and this is how you look at things from a micro perspective. But all of this is just looking at it from the micro perspective. What we're looking to try and find out, of course, is how the entire week will go, and we'll not have any ideas about that at all for a day or two. We'll not have. We'll wait for a wee while before we can start trying to make assessments like that, because this is just the morning shuffle, the Monday morning shuffle, as everybody kind of pours coffee in their eyeballs or whatever they got to do to get back onto looking at the charts properly. And this is kind of just the shaky wakies that everybody gets as a whole bunch of human beings and robots alike start trading these markets. Dragon Slayer says, borrowed shares, chance of shorting, GME today. Also, SPY was tanking last week. It might drag AMC and GME if it continues. Interesting. We did talk about this as well with SPY. Let's just take a wee quick look at these things. So, bear in mind, GME has filled in that gap in the 4-hour time frame. AMC has now filled in that gap in the 4-hour time frame. So, that was what was necessary. So, there's your first 8 minutes. Nice. Did a little bit of the old hand holding. It's some of the reasons why some people tune into this channel is because, the markets open up and they just want somebody to tell them, what is happening and understand it properly. You're only going to find that in a couple of places on the entire internet. Normally, it's got a massive paywall in front of it as well, of course. But there you have it. That's the sort of thing that Jamie and I can do for you, is keep you nice and informed. So that was fun, wasn't it? It was certainly a lot less heart palpitations, no doubt, for people out there in the tradeverse here. So can we maintain this price point? I'm looking for AMC prices to really actually maintain the $45 over the next hour now that we've done the power 10 minutes. By the way, with people like to talk about kind of the opening hours I don't like trading the afternoon session. I only trade for the first few hours of the day and stuff like that. A lot of those people, though, if you ask them about it, their trading schedule will be that they wake up a couple of hours before markets open, they do some research, they're looking at a bunch of stuff, they're trading it for the first 10 minutes to that hour, and then of course it's the sort of peaks, it tails off for them, a lot of them quite quickly. So the likes of Warrior trading out there in the world, one of the few people who I'd ever actually talk about with any sort of really great sense of respect for him. He's one of them. He's a really nice guy. I talk about him very rarely, actually, in fact, but he's actually somebody who's a good trader. And then you've got of course, Power Hour. And Power Hour is while Power Hour can be fantastic and everything, again, it kind of comes down to that last 15 minutes of the day. So let's check back in with this in 5 minutes, actually, and I'll bring up the chat for a couple of seconds. Look at all my beer. You've got beer, Apple Blossom. Where's your beer? Woo! So you do. Look at all that beer. Nice. Oh, excellent. Cool, right? That's cool. Nice one, huh? Every like is a like for a like. For how much do you liking these things? Like the stream now, please. Thanks, Griffin. Yes, and indeed, anybody who does hit like is massively appreciated. I really do appreciate you. Thanks very much. Morning, Rocky. Morning, all. Sitting Bull. Morning, all. Rocky and TS, beautiful humans. Yes. By the way, for anybody who wonders, I mean, you can see me chatting about this there now. If I'd have been wanting to trade this and scalping that, I could have been during that period of time, and I obviously would have made money on AMC with chatting about that just there now with that movement up the way, and it would have been as stressful as you just watched. Obviously, that's the goal for everybody who's kind of watching along ultimately to have that, but I can't necessarily deliver that to you personally, and I certainly can't do it like Lawnmower Man, put it on a CD and more or less shove it into your brain like the Matrix copied some years later. No, what I can do is be here as a spirit guide for you as you, of course, gain these experiences yourself. As a human being, you'll know from various different things. I can't just sit here and talk to you about driving if you've never driven before, and then you go and get into a car and start driving. I can't show you pictures of it. No, there's a degree of experience that you need to have yourself sitting in the hot seat, and that's something that I couldn't possibly give you, that you'll only ever get yourself. But that's obviously the goal. But a lot of people as well, they talk to me about money and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, obviously, just wanting to get this conversation out of the way right here, early doors, in terms of the week, so I don't have to do it possibly ever again, is that I demonstrate all the time how much more wealth I would accumulate by simply trading these things rather than sitting here and talking to people about it. And if you think that so we'll not have any discussions as to whether or not there's any ethical or moral or any other implications from any decision which I make regards to finances and the way I conduct myself on YouTube, because anybody who comes to me and says anything like that underappreciates the value that I put into this community, which I swear is so much, that I'll probably just ban you for saying it, no matter who you are, type of thing. So we'll not have that conversation ever. And it's been faded away a bit so far. So the question was, after having done this, how will it be handled? And now again, we're looking towards this line and saying this is what we want to see the prices obviously staying above here for us. Likewise, we want to see the GME prices actually able to recapture this line just here. That's where we are just now. This will kind of cover us until 3 p.m. my time, essentially. So I wonder if anybody else has got any stocks or anything else that they want me to look at. If they don't, that's totally cool as well, by the way. Morning, Rocky from USA. Hiya, TA1000 Ape. Great mic and charts. You're a rare example of a genuine human being without shadiness. Thanks so much, man. Yeah, Bing Bong says Drew Soul, big time. Thanks very much. Just wondering if you got the message I sent you. If you you sent me a message. You sent me a message. If you're asking me about a message that you sent me on Twitter with regards to a cool low cap crypto gem, Mining Boom, you're really great. Look at that. Mining Boom just upgraded his membership to Early Supporter Plus. That's really great. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. One less person to worry about when I eventually ditch the Early Supporter membership and ask everybody to move from Early Supporter onto one of the higher membership levels as I ditch it. Who knows how long I'll keep Early Supporter up there for. People often wonder, why do you call it Early Supporter, Rocky? So it's because it's Early Supporter. I mean, and that's why. Anyway, right, sweet. So fantastic. Thanks so much, Mining Boom. Now we had K King was talking to me recently about something. It's called Happy, which is a nice name for a coin over here. It's on it's on KuCoin. Now K King, Kevin in the chat there found this for sort of fundamental reasons, you could say, in a sense, looking at kind of like how many coins are available, blah blah blah, brand new. Very, very, very small thing. A little bit of a moonshot punt for us. So from a technical point of view, very little that I can say about this, because this is the entire chart of this thing's entire existence. Started off down at 42, pumped all the way up to $100. Well, just shy of $100. Wee lesson for anybody who would have been aiming for 100. Oh no, I just missed it. It got to 96, didn't sell. Woof, back down to 43. Anyway, the and it's so far it's finding its support back at its lows. There's a degree of being able to say then that this is obviously like a pivot in the market. It's kind of this region, and it clearly is. I think then if this drops down below these levels, that we're looking for a bit of pain on this one for a while, which is cool because the pain would accelerate very quickly past this point, giving you an opportunity to manage your risk, but also as a way of kind of seeing whenever it slows down again, just maybe when people have had when that pain's been extracted, this would probably be a painful one if it passed past that level. So we're looking for it to stay above 40. This is Happy versus USDT, by the way, a new coin suggested by somebody who's a member of the community here as a potential moonshot. $55 towards the top sides of previous high. Not taking that out, of course, represents represents yet more failure, i.e. yet more lower highs, i.e. a downward trend that this thing has been in ever since, well, let's be honest, ever since the moments after it began trading, its entire existence. This candle that starts off down here certainly flatters to deceive in so many ways. Because here's the 5-minute time frame, and if we just go to the very, 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 very start of it, you can see it flatters to deceive in so many ways. But nevertheless, popping back up towards the 24-hour time frame and acknowledging that that is indeed a price that people were buying and selling at, and that is a pivot. And as well, over the last few days, we've had this being touched several times. Then you can see that that's where that would be. It's certainly an interesting one though, from in terms of things like how there's very, very few of the coins in general. Total supply of 1 million. Circulating supply of 250,000, I think it was what you were saying. So interesting stuff, because things can change very quickly, but I've got no idea beyond that what this coin does, and I'd have to look into the website a bit more. But it's an interesting one, right? Let's go check out, SPCE, because of course our friend Richard Branson was up in space. Now, the thing about Virgin Galactic is that when you're up there, you can't actually look out towards space as if you've gone completely away from Earth. Instead, you're just at that cusp of the atmosphere, just right at the very cusp of the atmosphere, where you're floating around, but you're not really in space, and you're looking down at the planet. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, you are in space, and there you go. So that's cool. That's what happened there with your man Richard Branson. But if you're wondering to yourself, like, what are the differences between these different space companies and stuff like that, they've got quite different things on the go. You're not going to get a Virgin Galactic flight up to meet up with International Space Station. That just isn't going to happen. Anyway, interesting stuff, and it certainly has a bit more of that tourism type feel to it, in a sense. Like, I remember when they first started talking about it, it was like, well, the Virgin Galactic one, it's crap then in comparison. And it's like, well, no, not really, because what if you don't want all of those other experiences? What if this is what you want? And it's like, and what if you're saying it's crap? It's akin to me saying that you don't have a swimming pool in the sea at the beach when you're there. Some people just want to go to the beach and swim in the sea, and they don't need a swimming pool at the beach beside them. And other people are like, well, that's better. So horses for courses. Here's Virgin Galactic. Now, people were talking about how as if they would expect maybe the price of this thing to go up, having just had the flight. And yeah, okay, but that again, if there was ever any truth to the buy the rumor, sell the news, then surely this is like the news part of that, right? In which case, this previous thrust would have been the rumor part of it. And let's not as well forget, with regards to this company, just jumping up towards the weekly time frame and hitting the auto button so you can see it. This is a company which has done very, 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 very well since December 2019, with huge movements resulting in it losing almost all of its value a few times. So this is very extreme. Prices moved all the way up here to $60 in February 2021, dropped all the way down to $14 on the 3rd of May 2021, and then with that flight didn't take out their previous highs necessarily. I'm just actually going to double check that, because it looks like on the weekly time frame we did sit in a higher high. We'll just see. So it's interesting. Right, I'm going to jump back over and take a look at that, what you're suggesting, in a minute. Duro Digger, thanks so much for joining, early supporter. Really appreciated. Thanks, Digger, mate. Fan Dabby Dozy, really appreciated. So yeah, just be aware that this sort of good news event has taken us up to as high as the previous one in February, when, of course, so just watch out, in the sense that when we do see pullbacks on this, it can be quite horrifying. Let me just sort of demonstrate to an extent. So if we were looking at this one and we had it from, say, here, the last sort of point before it took off and launched up into Virgin Galactic, edge of the Earth, not quite fully space, but space nevertheless, then the prices that came down to this 49 area found resistance there, pushed on down, right there, right at that 236. Oh, how unusual to have seen something like that. So then here with this one, are we in a better position given that the previous lows were further away? Well, you certainly could say so. But also, it doesn't. It's not far from where we are now. Therefore, below $42 or $41, I should say, probably. Then I'm not feeling particularly positive on this one if it closes down below it, and we'd be managing my risk probably accordingly there. For that, looking for what, Rocky? Well, an entry back then at 23 or indeed $20 if that were to be the case. Looking for this to come down and fill in this gap here, following on from the successful trial, having put in what is a higher high on the weekly and therefore bearish divergent. If you're going to consider the opens of negative candles to be the closer, above it, the actual high. Yeah, equal high. So it's only like, sort of semi-bearishly divergent there. But it is, you can see that we came up here with less momentum than we did on our previous upward thrusts. When our previous upward 1, 2, 3 upward thrusts, 1, 2, 3, trending up the way, trended up the way, trended up, pulled back. What this is came down here. This is a low which beat one of our previous lows, so it's not particularly good overall. And then we came up here, and what's this? Is just an equal high, kind of pop down towards the 24-hour time frame. It's a lower high somewhere in the middle, like trying to fit the story on the 2-day time. It's a lower high, so we came up for a lower high, following on from a low. Not fantastic. Nevertheless, we're here, and you could, feeling like you want to go along on this one. What could this be? Could be a bull flag. If it's a bull flag, then what's it look like? Oh, that looks kind of bull flaggy to me. Well, yeah, it's consolidating at an area which was previously where our high was. If it had have gone up higher, then it would have been really, bearishly divergent. It didn't take it out, so it wasn't bearishly divergent. So the prices were pushed up there in a way that if you were looking to manipulate the charts and paint it on exactly, that you would have done it there and stopped at that point. The pullback we've seen has come back in to fill in a gap already that was on the charts, so we can kind of maybe forget this weekly, the weekly gap there down at that price point. We don't need to think about it, the 24-hour time frame gap down there just now. We've maybe just filling in this gap is enough for us in what could be a bull flag. Cool, okay, so we don't need to add any extra narratives on top. We can just treat it like a bull flag gets treated, and there's your bull flag there. Extended these lines out, so that's a wee bit annoying. There's your bull flag just there, and we'll just wait and we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for fake out territory on it, which of course is going to be towards the top side up here. So so long as the prices are below $58, they're not looking amazing. We're going to be aware of course, the zone here where there's that gap and the 236 right at the lower end of the bull flag. If we do push down below it though, we're going to be aware of like movements below the 236, which are just simply filling in the bull flag as it was, and managing a risk accordingly. That if you want to maintain what could be an overall upward move. For me personally on this one, I think it's probably more likely to go the 618. What's next on this one? The more exchanges that adopt it, the better the price will be, but a long-term hold, yeah, cool. Not very many of them out there in the world. It's a platform that protects DEXs and companies from cyber attacks. And they have more to come down the line. Oh, cool. So that's something that's also necessary. So that, like, what we look at is major ideas come along in terms of industries, and then secondary components come in to kind of fill in those required areas. And so often those are the better investments, in the way that so often the better investment when oil prices go to crap is perhaps to short petrol or gas station companies, necessarily, as opposed to sometimes these things happen. So Chainlink, fantastic, and it's obviously not running a DeFi exchange itself. It's part of the infrastructure, and that's cool. And then these things, they're kind of interesting. That's why other things, insurance coins are interesting. Trustless, decentralized insurance is an interesting idea, right? And you can imagine how it could be a big industry in terms of things like a DeFi platform that wants to back up all of the transactions that it has there with insurance, and they can afford to do so at a cost which comes within the transaction fee cost anyway for using the thing in the first place. So wonderful, amazing future stuff there that happens with all these sorts of things. So that one they're trying to protect against cyber attacks. Well, you know, these things I presume are probably necessary. Hey Drew, happy Market Monday. What I've taken to calling it in my house. Hey Katie Babes. Katie Babes, somebody who's dead fun and positive and floats around in a different chats on YouTube in this GME AMC world. So that's pretty cool. Nice to see you chatting to each other. Rocky, can you look at / give update on Naked? Cool, we could do an update on Naked. By the way, these things here, what I'm going to be doing in the near future, instead of doing what I just did there now, is I should be going new chart layouts, etc. So if I can go make a copy, and this would be my SPCE Virgin Galactic chart, right? Save that. Then I'll then be taking this and sharing it by going up to the share button up here, somewhere up there, adding it to the Discord in the education rooms and the trading rooms, so that people can follow along with those, that information, etc. And charging for that, right? Anyway. What was the other one that we got there? That was Naked. So I'll bring up. So wait, this would be my. So I'd have saved that one, and then of course I just close that. Then whenever it comes to somebody asking me for TA on something, I'll go and bring up my chart over here as well and update it. That sort of thing, right? Shout out to TradeSpotting for giving me that idea about how to do that sort of thing. So what I'm doing here is taking a look at Naked, but I'll just jump back over and see how our two PAL stocks are doing just now. For instance, good one, GME, doing what we want to see. AMC is now the one that's kind of slightly lagging behind in that sense. Come on, move up a little bit here and try. I really want to see us actually getting above that 45 price point. The fact of the matter is, though, that I drew this line here for a reason. I'm actually happy to see it above $44 in the meantime kicking around. The fact is that we didn't get the immediate follow through filling in that gap. That was kind of to be expected, if you like. Over here in terms of GME, happy again as well just to see it above that line, and that's fine that's fine. It's fine. Above the line is fine. It's good. It's on time above the line, blah, blah, blah. Drew, this Saturday night, I felt disappointed when I realized it wasn't Sunday. Bizarre feeling. Yeah. Right. Okay, cool. Dan Ernst says, can we take a look at your man there? Naked. Shut up, cars. In so many ways, Naked has done what it's had to do. Right, actually. That's me now on Virgin Galactic chart. Virgin Galactic, that chart. Then I want to go new chart layout. Close that guy. And this is Naked. And this is going to be called rename. It's going to be called Naked. Naked. Nanekidi. Naked. Naked, naked, naked. They'd maybe make more money selling their lingerie and stuff if they called it almost naked, because when you've got lingerie on, you're not naked, you're almost naked. Right, so, yeah. Wow. Why the pistol has my... Have I not got all my good shit on here? Because, of course, I don't have all my good shit on here. Of course, though, make a copy. This is what it should have been. Naked. That's what I should have done for my copy. Make trying off, save now, auto save. Damn it. I don't know what I'll do with that. Right, anyway, so here's the Naked chart. Is this loaded Naked trade thingy? I'm learning here. I'm learning. I don't know, whatever. Right. So it's done what it's had to do in so many ways. We had this area telling us that we could come back down towards these lows again. Just popping in a vertical line here at this point, so you can see kind of roughly what I'm talking about in terms of the charts here. That we had this kind of warning to us that we could be coming down here to more or less where we left off at, and well, ultimately we did, and we actually went just a wee tad lower. Filling in this gap, though, was also something that we were looking for to happen, and it happened. But unfortunately, the none of this is particularly good for what we've seen so far in terms of the trend. This is all this results in is there being this downward trend at the minute. So that's not great. But actually, you know what? Personally, on this one, I'm disappointed that 67 didn't work out as being like the ultimate to the moon buy price for this one. It's no big deal really, though, given that if you had got it at 67 and wanted to just simply trade it, that you could have got out at 10% ish profit. 7, 8, 9, 10% profit, whatever, and therefore, when you've got movements like that happening, you're always able to manage your stop losses so that you can put them into a position where you've made profit and you've not made a loss, and well, at the end of the day, at least you've not made a loss, and that's kind of really actually significant for traders, probably more important than most other aspects of trading, is just kind of staying in the game. So yeah, so that's cool, but of course it's continued on down the way. And we don't have huge amounts of bullish divergence, or well, any, and that sucks a bit on the 4-hour time frame. I'm still actually positive on this one. I still feel like in this area that that we can refine the footing and move towards the top side. Although I'm really going to have to rearrange some of this, some of these drawings that are on here. That Fibonacci, for example, was just clearly wrong, or not wrong, but you know what I mean. It already gone past it. Yeah, so the golden pocket as well in it around about that 60 regions, obviously broken as well. Came on down towards the 786 of that, that there, and that. Yeah, sound. Okay, just to be clear, by the way, so far in terms of naked, what we're looking at is that we've got lows followed by highs, followed by higher lows, followed by higher highs, followed by higher lows so far in terms of this chunk just here. And we are asking in terms of this chunk just here if we can actually turn around the trend and move towards the top side. So the issue for us with regards to this chart are the two retracements against the downward side movement. From the highs that we had there at the start of June up to, well, now, and from the highs that we had here in the market, sort of little most recent peak in February, down to the lows over here, and then zooming on in and just seeing how those two Fibonacci's line up at the minute, we can see that if the prices were to take out the 63 area, we'd be above the 236. Aiming up towards the 618 or indeed the 50% point, and the 236 on the larger Fibonacci happens at that 50% point, which is coming in at around about 73, which is important for us in terms of the downward movement and everything else in this trend, because that was a high, this was a low, this was a lower high, this is a lower low, and market structure wise, taking out this zone just in here, we'll be starting to say that we're turning things around there, and quite clearly we're looking at the minute for our first high again. Previously at the 67, 68, 69, 72, 73 area, we were having a high and asking, could we see a higher low? Hoping, therefore, to not push past the 63, 62 price point, because that could lead to further drop-offs, which indeed ultimately happened, taking out that market structure, confirming that this was just a high and that we were going on for lower lows thereafter. And you can see in here, in that region, just in there, how there was, of course, inflection in the prices, showing us that, of course, that a lot of people looking at charts at that point were thinking the same sort of thing. Rejection, rejection, rejection as well. Every time it tried to push up past that body, and a couple of times there are 3 rejections before it pushed on down to ultimately to these lower targets. So same story over again here, looking for stuff to move up towards the top side with a few nice cascading positive events along the way. Should we do it, such as taking out that 236, perhaps taking out our market structure, hitting off that 50%, testing the 236 from the bigger picture story, and then being able to actually start to trend towards the top side. So that would be, what I'd be hoping to see happen. And in order to talk about that, I'm having to sort of willfully overlook the fact that this has been moving towards the downside, and I'm able to do so because when I zoom further on out, I can see that there is this downward movement followed by this actual overall upward trending movement, but it's broadening out quite a bit. So the ultimate warning is that if we do push past those certain areas, that we probably come back in for a retest of this lower area again, because of course, with the broadening structure, you're so often just like, you're first looking to come back to the inception point on a broadening structure, giving us this lower area for where you'd be managing your risk at. And that's of course as well significant percentage moves, going from around about the 56 down to the 45 area. Now, Naked themselves, this company, this stock, is liable to be pushed around, and what we as a group are trying to achieve, essentially, not as a group, no, all of us as individuals are trying to achieve, because we are not the group, is to be able to ride these pumps and dumps, etc., along the way, because ultimately there is a very, very big story for this one, which I think is real and could happen, in that we're looking at this bigger, broader term picture of the head and shoulders down here at the lower end coming into play. But as you can tell, like, that shoulder, head, shoulder, etc., neck line is like huge sort of zone in this one. But as you can tell, like, if we did actually go in and do any of that, then little degrees of fractions of less than $1 in terms of what you're paying for it don't really seem like a big deal. So if you're looking at it from is there a long-term value play as an investor here and not a trader? Because that's important to be clear about that distinction. Then you've got a cool investment potential value play long-term thing here for us with this one. Should we start to see some positivity on it, and it could be quite good, blah, blah, blah. And in terms of everything that we've been talking about up to right now is in terms of how you can, like, radically differentiate, or, create a differential if you are an investor in terms of your overall trajectory by saving 10% now here, because of course that expands across a bigger range over time. So there's that. But you don't need to be interested in it. And then as well, talking about it from a trader's point of view and how a trader would need to think. And well, that's what the trader needs to think. And if you're an investor as well and you're looking for that type of potential, then you need to be thinking along those lines too. Otherwise, be patient and look for drops down the way, or look for confirmation past key areas up above. Specifically waiting until we're above 165 on this one. So we would need to move in more than $1 if you really want to just be like Warren Buffett's about things on this one. Now, if you are looking to trade this here and now though, and you can see that type of thing is a completely different risk profile and still is very risky, and you're thinking, how does that how does that work for me? Then you're probably more of the mindset where you're actually looking to trade this thing, in which case, is there an edge just now? And well, there is actually here at this zone. Very easy enough to manage your risk. If we do push down past the wick of our lower area at 54, I'm not interested. Staying here at the minute is pretty good. I think that there'd be potential profit taking coming in at 63. The next target after that is 66, 67, 68, rather than necessarily 73, where we had our previous high, because of the potential for a pullback before we put in a higher high, thus maintaining the downward trend. And then afterwards, if we take out that target, we'll have our first high. You could then give yourself some breathing room and allow the prices to drop back down towards the 60 area again thereafter, having put in the high without necessarily closing out your position, because you'd be more confident of the trend maintaining itself at that point. Your risk management would therefore change. And that's where we are with Naked, okay? And I know that's fairly complicated, all of that update, but I don't know, it sets us up for the week. It makes it a little bit easier for us to talk about all of it. And again, in terms of this thing, we came down here. Where's vertical line again? Vertical line. Yeah, so, your next target on it is 60. That's what I'm looking for. We're at 57 at the minute. Easy next target there on that one, probably, if we haven't already fulfilled that idea. Right, just appreciate your T8. You're welcome, Drew. Right, how are we doing for time? 3:10. That's cool, Frostcrest. Our water is out, and I'm listening to you while taking a shit in the woods. Thought you should know. Thanks so much, Frostcrest. Good to know. It's good that you're doing that rather than shitting in the toilet and having the smell in your house. So that's good. I hope that that you find some interesting stuff out about this. I mean, I wonder what sort of experience you might have with composting your discarded loo roll, or if you plan on incinerating these things. Indeed, maybe you also have a stove, and you could dry out your turds and use them within the stove as well. Yeah, lol. Hope you get your water fixed, mate. Dan Ernst, thanks, Rocky, for the info on Naked. I have lots of shares, planning on long play, not trading it. Yeah, cool. So hopefully then we do go up towards those higher targets. You know, it's the sort of thing, it's that you'll feel a heck of a lot better about where you are if the prices go to 160, when other people will be coming in and asking these nervous questions about whether they should or they shouldn't invest in it. The prices from 160 could easily retrace all the way back down to like $1 and then keep going, you know, and throughout that period then you'd be in that safer mentality zone, in much the same way that people who bought in at AMC at $4 can see it go to 40, 60, 70 dollars and drop back down to 38 and ultimately think, well, you know, I've not lost the wife, the children and the house over this one, still doing pretty good no matter what way you cut it. Cool. K King down almost 7% on Rolls Royce since opening, but recovering nicely. Darn it. Let's just check out Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce, similar situation to this one in terms of what we're looking at, because like, let me just zoom right on out here for us on this, and you can see that there is this kind of head and shoulders-esque movement at the lower end. We had a bit of a V-shaped recovery here, and actually did push up the way and do a full signal to us that we've done pretty well. You could make a debate about that with regards to this this high that we had in here. If you draw in from 146 down to the lows up here, did we actually take that out, etc.? Well, we came all the way up, so good, did really well. Then we found a resistance coming in for this overall potential reversal pattern. So that's pretty decent, but yeah, pulling around here. And again, when you're in these low numbers, then the percentages are very, very real. So a 7% saving is a good one. But when you go into the big numbers, then 7% seems like nothing. It does change the trajectory of your overall trade, though, to a good extent. So we've come here for a low and then another low, which is obviously going to be bullishly divergent here on this one. This is lower. Yeah, great. This is a perfect setup for the day's trading if it does go ahead. Just on the simple basis that you've got a low here and then actually a lower low here, a lower low just here, and then of course you've got a low here and a higher low just here, which is making that divergent. I'm really going to need to catch up with the videos that the guy and that I've made talking about this indicator just there, because I see divergences ever so slightly different on it frequently. Doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, and we are just there. So yeah, it could be a decent day's trading, but in terms of whether or not this is going to be decent for the week, what we're looking at is not being too keen on that until we see it above 98.80, so $100. Yeah, so take out $100, then the week is good. We could be looking at a 10% positive for the week. It's down 7% on today already, though. Is that right on this one? Because that's hilarious. Not hilarious, but you know what I mean. Recovering already. So it started off, took down 10%, 7% on the day. 3-minute time frame I've got open. Oh, UK time. Sorry, UK time. This has been open all day. The 12th of July. So where we started up at $100, pop down the way to lower than $100. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. The last time, we're above 94 over here, trending up and down. That's okay. This is this for me compared to these two areas is a higher low. This is the potential turnaround that I'm looking for at the minute. The latest in terms of the small term time frames, V-shaped recoveries we've had on this one was just this one here, where we came up and we definitely put in a high, trended towards the top side, came on down, and we put in what could be a higher low. So at the minute, I'm pretty okay with this one having done what it's done. Although I would ideally have seen it, be higher, and that this 4-hour time frame shows us that we've got that potential for this to pay out with a nice strong bullish divergence move for us, given that that's all wick on that candle. So looking at this one and thinking that this is potentially actually a decent setup for the week here on this one, to be honest with you, with this negative setup, this negative play that's happened so far. So that'd be cool. That would be cool. That would be cool indeed. Good. So yeah, nice. Right, how am I doing with everything everywhere in the world? Okay. So I think I will. It's 3:15. Yeah, I'll probably I'll go over and chill out with the chat for a wee bit and see how you're all getting on. You could fling it in the woods. You could fling it in the woods. That's right. That's handy. Sandy tip from Tar. My timing is impeccable as usual. I wonder why you're saying that. Kitty Babes, Pierre, that's what a true ape would do. Yes, you know it. No, a true ape would eat a banana and call it green. Okay, fair enough. Ditto on Sophie. Sophie. The goddess of wisdom, of course, Sophie. But then, is that really true? The goddess of wisdom, of course, is Sophie. But are we looking at a chart of sophistry, which, of course, is hiding deceit behind what would otherwise be seen as being true? Oh my God. Could it be? This is a 618. Right? And we're at it at the minute ish, a little bit beyond it, which is obviously not great, but from this low down here, then it's the same thing. And this is the same chart as GME before the push down in terms of this low, and not the same chart as GME, that's silly, but it's this low followed by a higher low as part of a basin overall. It's not a twin peak. It's not a twin peak at all. 8th of March for those lows though, and whatever. What are we doing at the same time as it happens? Yeah, it was up at these highs, and then it came in for these lows on 25th of March. Yeah, interesting stuff there on that one. It's completely unrelated. It's just out of my own. Sorry, just satisfying my own curiosity there with the dynamics here on this one. Really, completely unrelated. But what is interesting to note, of course, is that when we did have this recovery, that we pushed up to the 886, when we've had this pull back down or the 786, we pushed up to the 786, then on the downward movement from this low to this high, we came down to the 786. Will we spend some time here just kind of consolidating and then hopefully turn it around? What do we have to go along with it? A big volume, the biggest volume that ever came in here was at this point here when we were down, came up to fill in the gap with all that volume to fill in the gap, and that's all it did. So this whole volume thing is just fake, right? Okay, so that's fake. Just in terms of this one, I'm not going to look at that too much, because that's just market dynamics in here causing that high volume as a market maker shift around. I wonder if that has implications for trend. It's going to be a key area for me on that one. Have we done this gap yet? No, we haven't. Will people be happy about this one? I wonder, and I wonder, wonder why she wouldn't stay, my little runaway. Run, 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 run away. Yeah. Hmm. I think I might have food poisoning, by the way, people. Got a really sore stomach in that. Which would be annoying. Don't know where I got it from. Like last night, and I went to bed, woke up with it, and it never got over it since. I wonder if I've done something like that, or if I just got a sore stomach. Maybe I picked up some disease. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Yeah, so yeah, nothing really good about this chart. Okay, sorry. There's nothing really good about this chart. Now, there's nothing really bad about this chart either. Ultimately, what we're looking at is something that since January has been in sideways price movement, neither putting in consecutive highs and lows in terms of the macro picture or whatever, just essentially going sideways, which has involved periods where we've trended up, as we can see here, and at periods where we've trended down. Then there was a rise up with a distribution top, and there's a nice wedge at the top there of this one. Lots of bearish divergence while that's going on. You could talk about it so many different ways. Then we had this little knot area that went up before it. We had this little high that was above before. I mean, this is just Wyckoff just basically did this. What this is the main part of what Wyckoff did in terms of his entire body of work, was that one day he came into work and he was like, holy shit, this thing seems to happen a lot. Then he was like, okay, I've got a book. Then he's like, I'll call this a point here, 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 then I'll just put binding on it. And so there's your book, and yeah, and I've got a book, da-ding, and that's how these things go, okay? And that's the same. I mean, it's the same as like, I don't want to take the piss too much, and there's lots of really sensitive people out there that'll be crying right now because I'm saying this, but same sort of thing as what Elliot did when he was like, oh, markets go like this, and then they go like that, and like so often when they go like this, it's like they go like that a bunch of times. It's amazing. Have you seen how markets do this? Like that's what these things were, and no offense. I mean, these guys like 100 years ago doing their stuff, like that was actually groundbreaking. Anyway, this here is just yet another example of that. Don't put too much. Don't people talk about it like they found a new religion when they see it. Essentially, this sort of little push here is a key component of it, though. Just where you fail to take out those, you fail really to get continuation, having put in those other highs. This here is another point about it. Whatever. Essentially, you put in a higher low at this stage, and then you've got your lower high, and this forms out a wedge at the top so often anyway. Then you've got like a knot here as you push down towards. Then of course we pushed on down the way since, and this has been the full picture of that coming in here, and maybe perhaps aiming at the minute to go into down to 1550 perhaps, before actually finding another turnaround. It's still looking kind of negative. Now, could you get an edge in this market? Yeah, you certainly could, but is there anything here to show you that you've got one? No, there isn't. I mean, all you have is like the increase in strength and trend, etc., in terms of the negativity, and all those negative things. The most positive thing is that we came up in terms of the negative trend and hit the 50 point, the 40 point here, which is sometimes like the end before you get some positive movement. Didn't work that time around, so like here we had this end of that, but the negative, there's nothing good about this chart right now, okay? But at any given time along the way, should we see prices taking out this horizontal line, then we're looking good again. At this stage, we'll have taken out these previous areas of resistance, this area which was support and is now potentially resistance ahead of us at 1777. So when we get above 17.77 on this one, I'll start to feel a bit more positive. If we go down to 15.55 on this one, I'll look proactively for an edge. Right now, this one doesn't look that great. Might do on some other time frame. Might do some other way, but that's where we are with that one. Right. Yeah, thanks so much, Epiphany Jones. I'll be fine. I also have sour stomach, but it's period related. Maybe we got synced up cycles. That's it, Katie Babes. Maybe we synced up our cycles. Could be having my period. I don't know. Sophie is worth being long on. It's still early. Oh, I mean, I'm sure in terms of like investing in it, etc., it's worth being long on. Yeah, I'm sure it is. In terms of like your financial status over the period of the last 30 days and being long on it, you're down 35%. That's not good. But in terms of like the overall broad perspective on this one, could be good. And in terms of like any amount between here and if you'd gotten it long in June the 8th, between here and those prices that they were at then would be fantastic profit taking targets for anybody who just wanted to make money, and it would be at the point at which we're past those previous highs when it would start to look good again, but not in the here and then at that time. It would actually look good for a retracement at that point because of the way that markets operate, because of like like whatever it happens to be that you'd be looking for would be that, because what we're talking about here is a company which is been in this shape since the start of the year, and it's gone up and it's gone down and it's gone not as high as it did before and not as low as it did before, and ultimately then therefore you want to be looking up towards where your previous highs were and your previous lows were and trade in the range. And in that sense, if you want to talk about it in terms of where we are right now, it's clearly better and has clearly been better since the start of the year to be trading this thing rather than holding it as a long-term investment in every single measure of what that currently stands as. But I don't disagree with you in terms of what potentially this company could be. I actually don't even know what this company is. I've never thought to particularly care about it either. Let's use some information. Let's try and find out some information about what this thing is, though, because I'd like to know more about this company. It's called Sophie, and it's a company. Sophie Technologies provides financial services. It offers home loans, personal loans, in-school loans, credit card. Sophie Technology develops non-lending financial products, such as money management and investment product offerings, and leverage financial service platform to empower other businesses, and leverage financial services platform to empower other businesses. That sentence isn't grammatically correct, Sophie, you idiots. The company was founded in 2011 and is headquartered in San Francisco, California. Learn nothing about it there. Would learn nothing about it looking elsewhere. I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's a good company being involved in it or not. Doesn't look like it to me in any particular way, to be honest with you. There's nothing about that which in any way makes, but sure, I'm with you on it. I'm sure there probably is a lot of reasons if I were to do any research on it. I would trade this happily. Happily would trade this, though. Busy, can't complain. Lol, how about you? Oh, good to see you, AB. It's Chan Math SPAC company. Oh, it's the SPAC company, yes. We talked about this before. You explained it to me before, Jeff Smith. In that sense, Drew, you're right. Yes, yes, Drew, you're right. That's interesting, and that's what makes it good. Otherwise, yeah. That's what makes it good. That's why its description is also complete and absolute bollocks. It's just a shell company at the minute. It's fake, but it's going to be real. Cool. Thanks, great. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah. So you're right, Drew Spalt. You're right, Drew Sol. This could be one to be long on. In which case, these are your better buy zones. Like obviously, just in terms of the chart, this is a better buy zone than this. right? So if you're wanting to be long on something, just be aware that obviously there's good times and bad times to buy it, and yeah, this is maybe one of those better times in the bigger picture, right? Sweet, okay. But anyway, other than that, who really gives two fucks? Nobody actually is your answer. GME, way doing it. Perfect. Good to see. That's what I wanted to see. 196, 197. Moving on up. Moving hopefully towards a good week for us. Hopefully. We'll not get too excited, but we've certainly had the Monday morning that we wanted to see with regards to GME. Now, yes, okay, you could talk about how there was that gap down, and you could talk about how it got scary and we needed to hold hands for a wee while back in down in these areas or whatevs, wherever it was earlier on. But we've done that. We're over that now. We've moved on. We've moved past that. Now, AMC, have you done that, moved on past that? Well, not quite yet. Not quite yet. Moving up the way though overall here. This gives me the impression that we're probably looking at one of those days where it's kind of easy trading. You know, you stick on the VWAP again. It's like the hard part was surviving the morning session. The easy part is just going to be like, you know, trading throughout the rest of the day. It's probably going to be a fairly low volume day in the grand scheme of things, as nobody comes in with any real degree of conviction, probably. Like overall for me, as the way that would look. Yeah, that we've got all of the volume in the first 15 minutes of the day, and the rest of it just kind of trickling down a wee bit, which is fine because this is the Monday, essentially the Monday that we wanted to see happen for both for these things, because what we had was a push down the way, right? What we've had is pushes down the way, and a lack of momentum and a lack of follow through is certainly bullish in terms of how these things work, because it's pretty much a binary world, and the bearish alternative would be follow through and continuation in volume, and we've got none of those things there. CCIV is talking to the SEC about turning their 51 million stocks into 5.1 billion stock supply with the Lucent News major run up this morning. Cool. This is one that we've talked about a few times recently. Got a gap forming, have we? No, not on this time frame. That's good to see. 4 hours? No. Good one. 1 hour? No. Good one. No need for that, bastards. So, by the way, I'm correct in calling them bastards. These people, the National Health Service and other emergency services in Scotland daily damage the hearing of children outside on those streets with their decibels being far too high. They're bastards. It's not the driver of the vehicle themselves necessarily that's to blame. It's not blah 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 blah. It's just as the vague, faceless bastard out there that decides that volume is far too high. I mean, it was physically damaging to children's hearing, and it just seems just insane. I think the people who are the bastards are the council, perhaps the government, the politicians that decide these things. Good one. This one's looking decent. So is it then? But then at the same time, it's like this is kind of cool. Like there's plenty of opportunity here. It's still there. You just got a trend on the go. That's cool. So, you know, your target's probably going to be similar along the way here if we actually do continue to trend up the way. So, which I feel like we probably will here from this point. So, where are we looking in terms of their next target up the way? Probably below 30, like $30 or below. Let me just kind of assess this from previous movements as well. Yeah, so $30 target, $31 target on this one at the minute. $31 target, yeah, 31. Aiming up to 31 on this one, so that's what I'm looking at on CCIV, essentially. Right, whatever. Do you use any weekend screeners for Monday gappers? Any recommendations? Got the TA on SGOC in a nice trade this morning. Not massively. I don't think that pre-market and post-market really mean anything. If you had to hold, I mean, they mean something, right? But if you had to hold a gun to my head and it's like, no, answer me, yes or no, does it mean anything at all? Yes or no? Got a gun to your head. I'll just say, fuck it. No, it doesn't then in that sense. I'd rather be dead than live in a world where it did mean something. Yeah, so that's how I think about weekend screeners and stuff like that. So no, I don't use any. And then, so I don't have any recommendations either. Got the TA on SGOC. All right, cool. That's cool that you've been looking at that SGOC Sugoku group. Sugoku, fuck off. Sorry, excuse my language. Yeah, okay, cool. How will this go? How will this go? What did you say in it anyway? Got the T and a nice trade this morning. So you got a nice trade this morning. I mean, when was that gap? Today, 9th, 12th. What market are we in? NASDAQ, right. Yeah. Interesting one here. I don't know, like this huge gap here. I don't know. I mean, this logarithmic, just so I can see things properly here. That's one of the reasons I was a bit about that one, is because I didn't have a logarithmic, and I would have thought that I had, because I usually do, and I surprised myself there. But yeah, let's break it down a wee bit then. I can break it down like this. I can break it down like this. Where's the actual low? This chart's just got, it's so illiquid. It's so illiquid. Look, I'm really happy for you and everything like that, but this is again, it's just like, this is insiders v outsiders. You know, that's what this is. Insiders v outsiders. That's, it has to be, because there's nobody gives a shit about this or trades it. You know, apart from occasionally. This here stuff, you know, this is the sort of thing that this is ideal for trying to do Wall Street bets style collusion manipulation stuff, and that's the sort of stuff that I don't go in for personally, but it's ideal for it, you know. Yeah, clearly, look, if we fill in that gap, things get bad. I'd manage my risk probably all the way along the way. The movements here that are pretty good, so you can ride their momentum up the way, and otherwise just don't bother. And that until, and you know, just like, you know, we can always just, I'm not a financial advisor and that's financial advice, but you can always just choose to take profits off the tables at any given time, or move stop losses up and use a trailing stop loss, etc., things like that. When there's a pullback, there's a big pullback. There was a big pullback before we gapped up the way. If we fill in that gap, that would be a huge pullback in and of itself, but still not necessarily taking us into bearish territory. You're looking at losing 40% of your value to fill in that gap there, just to then continue on up the way. Hugely volatile market with fuck all volume in it. It's clearly got pump and dump aspects to it, unless there's some proper reason for this to not be like that. You know, so lots of stuff going on here with this one. I'd look out. I just trade it careful. Anyway, cool, nice one. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the show here. Been at it for like since 1:30-ish, 1:45, kind of missed my target slightly on that one. Probably. So also just keep kind of, you know, chatting with folk for the next couple of minutes, and then I will see if that I'm already out. Don't worry, got my $2 cane and was out. Haha. Yes, nice one. Good stuff, Jeff. I've got no doubt that you are looking towards the future of like 40 years. You know, like, you know, 4, 5, 6 decades of doing this sort of stuff. I know you're not a kid. I mean, like, skill for life, right? And all that sort of stuff. And I'm very proud of you, because you're not, because you've got good reason in life to be greedy, and you're not greedy, and I respect that an awful lot. And I don't care that nobody else understands what I'm talking about. Good luck, man. It's cool. Have a good one. Hope you feel better. Thanks so much. I already feel better, you know. It's kind of like that. Maybe I just needed to yap. Oh no, my tummy's sore. I feel better now. Yeah, Jeff, man, you deserve praise. You're a good man. All right. So Ryan Anderson says lol. I say lol too. Excellent. And yeah, GME shooting up, is it? Let's bring it up then. Let's bring it up. Yeah, we're doing good on this one. We're not doing like, okay, so we pushed up a bit. $200 round number, big thing, psychological level. That's a big deal. If you are looking at these things as being linked in that sense, then pushing past 200 for GME could be the momentum, or the incentive, sorry, that this thing over here needs in order to kind of pull its thumb out. But we can see what's happening. We can just see it here, just the 3-minute chart instead, to make this a bit more obvious as I try and talk about this. It's like we've just started with a negative day. Can we push up? Can we maintain average prices higher? As you can see, the average itself is still kind of sorting itself out. It's wanting to start to slope towards the top side, but it's just in this crappy little territory. This is the importance of understanding, like, it's not about whether or not a gap will be filled so much as it's about the reaction once the gap is filled. And as we can see here, then we're straight back into it, bouncing around right at the cusp of where we kind of started off from. And this is what would obviously look like in a bigger time frame, just a doji candle as you're kind of trying to sort things out. Maybe not the 30-minute there, but 3-hour time frame. There you go. It's just a doji candle, okay? And this is the construction of the doji candle. So if you see a doji candle on the monthly time frame, or the weekly or the daily time frame, then you know that the experience that we've walked through so far here today with regards to the 5-minute, 50-minute AMC chart is what you would be seeing on that. Like if you see like a doji on a daily candle and you're like, what's going on here? Why are they calling it an indecision candle? Then hopefully understanding the elements of indecision which we can see and live and experience right here, right now on the AMC 5-minute chart since opening today, and how that functions as a doji on, say, the 3-hour candle, will be somewhat revealing to you in terms of how the price action can operate in similar ways across a far grander period of time, but with the same ultimate outcome on the charts. And that's visible here in that dynamic. And what I really mean by that is that in terms of this candle as well, one of the aspects that I mean, an additional supplemental thing that I mean furthermore, that it's the evolution, therefore, of this that we're looking to see roll out, and how this actually goes along, because we know that at the minute that this is how that would look like a doji candle, but this is small terms time frame, and there is going to be a rapid evolution of this thing. So what we want to see essentially is for us to just end the day with a decent candle on the go, and in order to do that, you only need to see the prices going up anywhere into the gap territory, really. However, if we can actually close the prices above 46, 47 today, then that is much better, because we'll have secured it and filled it in completely, and that would obviously look nothing like a doji on this bigger time frame candle. But that's but we just have to wait and see how that goes. Just wait and see how that goes. Right, cool. Anyway, sweet. So going to do the credits and the reverse roll call, and maybe come back later on today. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I got a good show in here, and that by wrapping up just now, that it gives me a far greater chance of coming back, but I'll not promise that because it's outside of my routine. And if I did do that, I'd come back and talk to you about it, of course, in the Discord and everything else as well. Yes, again, I've closed off the ability for people to create new invitation links on the Discord. I am going to implement some fee structure for it to be a part of it. The implementation of that fee structure, depending on how things go over the next wee while, may well be implemented at 10k members, may not, might just do it beforehand, depends. I'm not going to pin anything to anything in particular, but obviously the overall concept is that we've made it to a point at which I've more than gone the distance in terms of like showing my dedication, commitment to the audience, to the community, to what we're building here as a whole, as opposed to any sort of simple desire to chase greenbacks, because I'm clearly a silverback, not a greenback. Much love, everybody, and let's bring up those credits. In fact, I should have gone back over to the main screen like some time ago, instead of being on that one for so long. Should have been back on the main screen some time ago, chilling out with my family. Oh yeah, my family. So Katie Babes, Apple Blossom, Fapping It, Brian Mullen, got all you guys in there that'll be featuring as part of the old reverse roll call thing that I like to do. But I need to get my credits on the screen so I can roll them first because people on there, I like the old credits thing. I like rolling the credits, so I'm going to do that. Roll them. Stephen Kimbler, thanks Rocky. You're welcome, Stephen. Apple Blossom, I hope you get to feeling better. Thanks so much. I love your cute American isms in the way that you speak sometimes, by the way. It's cool. Don't forget to like the page. Yay, Nova Scotian Unicorn. Aaron gives me a smile there. Thanks so much, buddy. Good to see you as well. Chob44, good to see you. You should listen in New York City. I wonder what that's about. Drew Stoll giving me a thumbs up or something earlier on. Thanks so much. AB Lopez, it was good to see you again, buddy. Jeff Smith, good to see you. Grace Foundation, good to see you, Grace. Hope you're doing well. Turning all that lead into gold, you cheeky sod. Goblin Attorney, good to have you here. Katie Babes, good to see you. Emo Dog number 1, Digger, thanks as well, by the way, Digger, for becoming a member. You're up on the credits there. I'll get around to saying that again. Pierre Charles Mingnault, thanks so much as well. As a good reminder as well for those who find themselves pooping in the woods about all the sorts of things you can do with your poop. Marant's Rants. Oh, look, check out Marant's Rants. Avoid the coin called AMC. It's just a trick on the ticker. Marant's Rants. There you go. There's another YouTuber out there. I didn't notice you during the time when you were chatting here, buddy. But I see that you're here now. There's a guy who tries very hard to and all that. So there you go. Good stuff from you, buddy. Right. And as well, an extra shout out to Katie Babes then while we're at it. So Katie Babes, hope she's feeling well shouted out. Tim Wattala, thanks so much. Wattala, thanks so much for tuning in. And to everybody, you know, Julio RC, good to see you, man. Finesse Finance, Kevin Vagan Seal, Peter Joy 931, Vic Vince, my buddy double agent, secret agent, Mr. James 007. Looking forward to your rule coming in as well, buddy. Arnie McInnes, great to see you as ever, my friend. Thank you so much. Vivena 777, it's lovely to see you, Viv. So, you know, everyone, you too, Arnie says, Aaron, check it out, the wonderful stuff, the beautiful people, the fantastic community that we have here. Really, truly marvelous, wonderful, fantastic stuff. Thanks for watching. Super chats coming in from Bad Mama Jama, Kim Robbins, and Drew Saul. Very, very, very much appreciated. And Drew Saul and Digger are the only members. Check it out. Nobody subscribed during today's show. Well, don't know if there's any lessons to be learned from that. For me, who cares? And yeah, much love. I'll see you in the Discord and whatnot. Maybe be back later on for another live stream. It really depends on how I feel about things. If my tummy gives me no problems and I feel energy-wise up for it, and anything really changes on the charts, then I'll let you know as well. But pretty good show, I think. See you next time.